welcome back to Open, everyone. So, El Museo del Barrio is, they're proud to present the 43rd annual Three Kings Day Parade and Celebration honoring New York City's past and present immigrant and migrant communities. This year's title of the parade is Nuestros Barrios Unidos, celebrating our collective strength, and it will feature colorful puppets, parrandas, music, and dancing. But most importantly, it celebrates the Latino cultural traditions honoring the Three Kings holiday. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome El Museo del Barrio's Director of Government and Community Affairs, Ana Chireno, the parade's Grand Marshal, immigration rights activist, Marco Saavedra, and honorary king, novelist, author of Bodega Dreams, Ernesto Quiñones. Hello and welcome, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about him being in costume, giving us a little sneak peek of what's to expect. I mean, there's so much more, but fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I can't say it enough. But let's talk with you first, Ana. Thank you for taking the time to be here. I know you guys are really busy over there getting ready for this parade. 43 years in the making. It's really phenomenal. I had the honor of participating in it last year. I could say that now because we're in January, but it was the beginning of the year last year. And it's really amazing to see how many people come out.
Absolutely.
January in the cold.
Thousands.
Yes.
Thousands of school children, East Harlem residents come to celebrate the parade. It really is an inspiring thing. We brave the cold.
I know, but the beauty is that it really all of the cultural significance that is put into it. For example, I mean, I want to speak to everybody here. However, just in this costume, right? Yes, we are honoring the Three Kings, but the costumes themselves, they represent other people or icons, we'll say, within the community that serve in other forms. Not just the inspiration behind the design, but the person who even designed it.
Absolutely.
That was a lot, so break it down for everybody.
So there's a lot of symbols built into the parade, and Ernesto is wearing our Miguel de Cervantes costume, designed by Dominican-American designer Emilio Sosa, who was a Project Runway contestant. And it's one of our two costumes. The other two are Ana Caona and Arturo Schomburg. So the Three Kings costumes altogether celebrate the European, African, and indigenous elements that make up Latino culture.
And Arturo Schomburg, the costume, he was supposed to be here, but he got pulled over because he represents the African American in us. Couldn't make it, so it's just me.
You can't help yourself, right?
Well, I will say that it's fitting that Ernesto is wearing the Miguel de Cervantes costume. A Spanish writer. Ernesto is the writer of Bodega Dreams.
Yes, it is. It is. And so I want to talk a little bit about Marcos and everything that you've been enduring lately. And congratulations on becoming the Grand Marshal. What we forgot to mention is you're the second in the 43 years that they're honoring as a Grand Marshal. And that's a big deal considering what you're dealing with at this present moment.
Right. I mean, it's a huge honor, but I think also a responsibility as an advocate to speak for my community, represent it, but also hopefully empower it. And we're welcoming, obviously, everyone to come. But the day before, we'll have a little preparation at my family's restaurant, La Morada. And again, kind of make it also almost like a semi-rally so that people can also march with us and have banners and hummingbirds and butterflies to represent migration.
Yes, and so it's good that you mentioned La Morada because it's here in the Bronx. And, I know that you just recently had a rally in November seeking asylum, right?
Correct.
And so let's just put it out there because you need everybody's support. So it's lovely that Museo del Barrio has put you in this position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the more publicity, the better. And we're expecting a result on my asylum hearing at the end of January. So it's very timely to have as much public pressure and public support as possible leading up to it.
That's lovely. And it's beautiful that we're all coming together. And in spite of our differences through shades and you can't help yourself, right, Ernesto?
Well, I used to be a young gun, but now I'm an, elder statesman. And that's when you join the dads and you wear silly costumes like this. But it's a big part of El Barrio, and I'm from El Barrio. It's a big part of me. And this parade has been going on since I was a kid. And now that I am an older, it's wonderful that I'm actually a king, and I take it as an honor to be a king in the Three Kings Day Parade in Spanish Harlem, in El Barrio.
I think it's beautiful that you are just really re-engaging with your roots, Ernesto. I mean, we've had you on the show before in case you guys need to be reminded. I mean, he's a professor up at Cornell, and he uses every opportunity he can to come back and participate in whatever it is that he can. And congratulations on being honored.
Yes, and I'm going to lose my tenure for wearing this. They're going to take it from me. I said, okay, thank you for the publicity. I'm just joking. It's actually a wonderful costume. Cervantes his left hand didn't work well, so he was called El Manco de Lepanto. So I'm going to play my part real well, so I'm going to have my hand like un manco, porque era un manco. That's why they were angry. The Spanish were angry, and that's why they conquered everybody. Anger. Anger's not good.
Thank you for educating our viewers coming into the new year. It's important. I mean, that's what you do for a living. So.
It's early in the morning is what it is.
That too. And so it's lovely. And thank you, really. I can't thank you enough. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you.
Yes. And so just the whole event itself, aside from the three kings, and let's also mention that the other two honorees are women.
Absolutely.
Right? So even though they're being referenced as kings, they're women being honored. And one of them I know is Elba Cabrera.
Representing the Bronx, that's right. La Madrina de las Artes. Elba Cabrera was the director of AHA, the Association for Hispanic Arts, for many years, and she supported thousands of Latino artists during her tenure, and we're super excited to have Elba. The other reina is Julissa Arce. She is an immigrant advocate. She has an amazing story. She was a dreamer, came to the U.S. from Mexico as a young person, worked her way through college since she couldn't access public assistance to pay for her college. She became an executive at Goldman Sachs, and she created a scholarship fund to help students, undocumented students like her, make their way through college.
So although everyone is wearing a costume and marching in this parade, there is an actual award ceremony that takes place early in the morning. And I want to know, what is that process that you go through to honor people and put them in this particular light? Because aside from the kings, I don't think we have the time to go through all the madrinas and padrinos, but there's another aspect to it. And so, like, what do the madrinas and padrinos represent?
Well, the parade is all about traditions and education, as you mentioned. We're a museum. We're dedicated to imbuing our future generations with knowledge, and part of that is the Taíno symbolism, our culture, our history, parrandas, aguinaldos, but it's also celebrating our local leaders. So we have a beautiful array of honorees, as you were mentioning. We not only have 3 kings, but we have our King Emeritus, Papoleto. We have 5 madrinas, 5 padrinos, our Grand Marshal, and I gotta say the Bronx is very represented. We have Lee Quiñones, the graffiti artist, not from the Bronx, but worked a lot in the Bronx. Blanca Amezcua, who's our artist that created our poster, runs an art space out of her apartment in the Bronx. Marco Saavedra, of course, as we mentioned, has his restaurant in La Morada. And so we use the breakfast ceremony to really highlight all of the different leaders that are doing amazing work in our communities.
Is it open to everyone, the breakfast ceremony?
Yes, it is.
So what time does that start?
Doors open at 8:30 in the cafe at El Museo del Barrio.
And we can go on and talk about this all day, but they're wrapping us up. And if there's anything important that we did not touch on, now's the time to speak before we go.
Just want to say that the parade kickoff is on 106th Street and Park Avenue, and the parade starts promptly at 11 a.m. It ends at La Marqueta, where there's also music and hot chocolate for folks at 12 o'clock. And the party doesn't stop there. We'll be going to El Museo's Teatro for a performance at 1 p.m. from Los Pleneros de la 21.
That's lovely. And before we go, do you guys have any last words?
I mean, just thank you for your time and your support, and I hope to see everyone there. Make sure you dress warmly and wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
coming
if
into the
it's
new
cold, it's okay, because we're Latinos. We're hot-blooded. That's why we hate ice. We despise ice. And,
Exactly.
So if
So
you're an
clever.
immigrant, please come. And there might be camels. If it's not too cold, there's actually camels.
There is
There's
camels.
going to be camels. Yeah,
They-
and not cigarettes, because some parades say there's camels. They give you cigarettes. There'll be real camels.
Camels, yes.
There'll be real camels from Africa. All right,
Yes,
so
they
please come.
they actually close out the parade. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're so clever. I can't take you. He's like, that's right. We're Latino. We're hot-blooded. We despise ice. Oíste?
That's right. 2020 election year. We're gonna kick. Vamos a votar para votarlo.
Love it. I love it. I love it. And united we stand.
Always.
Unidos. Gracias. Thank you all for
Gracias.
being here. And you guys, bueno, it's Feliz Dia de los Reyes coming up. And the 43rd annual Three Kings Day Parade and Celebration is taking place on Monday. And that's happening January 6th. The parade is taking place from 11 a.m. It kicks off 11 a.m. on 106 in Park. However, the breakfast ceremony kicks off at 8 a.m. And you're more than welcome to attend that as well. And if you're interested in more information, you can visit elmuseo.org/3K2020. And if you can't make the parade, follow El Museo's FB live stream because it's going to be hosted by yours truly. Woo-hoo. Yeah, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll find out about this year's upcoming Women's March as well. Don't go anywhere.